welcome back to my channel. My name is Kerry. Hello if you are new, and thank you for joining me in my video today. Today's video is going to be a tomato soup recipe, a tomato soup that you can make without using a pan. It is super easy. We have it with cheese toasties. We're having it for tea tonight, so I thought I would film it and show you how I make it. And I'm going to make it using my new Acekool smoothie blender. It does all sorts of things, not just a smoothie, but they very kindly gifted this to me to try, and I said I would show everybody what I thought about it, and I love it. And they've also given me a discount code for anybody who sees this who thinks I could do with a new blender. It's Kerry 15 off, and I'll pop it in the description box below along with the link to their website with all their other products as well. They do hand blenders, they do air purifiers, all sorts of different kitchen equipment, and I love it. I've been using it loads and you'll have seen it in other videos, and yeah, so without further ado, here is my tomato soup recipe with a little bonus strawberry milkshake one at the end. Here I have my baking tray, and you can see I've hardly had to do any chopping or prepping. I've used 2 small red onions because they were very small, or I would use 1 large if I had big onions. And I've just halved one and quartered the other, well, quartered 1/2 of them because they're really small. And I have 1 small whole bulb of garlic, 1 red pepper, and about 450 grams of tomatoes on the vine. I like to use the tomatoes on the vine because it adds extra flavour when they're cooking. Leave them on. We're not going to put them in the blender. We're just going to cook with them. I've sprayed a little oil over the top. Here's my little oil spray that I use. That's got rapeseed oil in it, but you could use olive oil as well. Or I suppose you could use vegetable or whatever one you choose to do so, but rapeseed oil works really well. And I've sprinkled a tiny little salt on. You can just about see it there. And I've got my oven preheated to gas mark 6, which is 200 degrees centigrade or 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I would pop it at about 180 degrees centigrade if you have a fan oven. I'm going to put these into the oven for 25 minutes until they're lovely and cooked. The garlic will be soft, all the juices will be starting to come out of the tomatoes, and the peppers will be lovely and brown. And I would put it onto foil. You don't have to, but I like to then pour any juices that are left over on the foil into my blender when I make my soup. So I'm just going to pop this into the oven for 25 minutes and then I'll be back in a moment. I have been cooking my vegetables for the soup for about 25 minutes, and they're lovely and ready, and they're just cooling very slightly. And while they're cooling, I'm going to show you my blender Acekool very kindly sent to me to try out. And I love it. I've been trying it for the last couple of weeks. I didn't want to review it and be like, yeah, it's great, and then it shatters or doesn't work or doesn't blend food. So I've made all sorts of different things in it: milkshakes, smoothies, hummus, tomato sauce, pizza sauce, soup, cocktails, you name it. You need to blend it up. This blender will do it. It's really, really good. So it has a fancy LED light, which I really like. So when you turn it on, you'll see it in action in a moment. So it turns blue when you turn it on. It's got 5 settings. 1 to 3 is for regular fruits and soft vegetables. So like a tomato sauce, pizza sauce, or a smoothie that doesn't have any nuts or anything in it. And then anything that's a little bit harder, 3 to 5 will blend that for you really well. So if I'm making a pesto in this, which I have done, I would use setting 4, and that grinds the pine nuts perfectly. And then also we have a pulse option as well, and that will crush your ice for you, and you can have a frozen margarita, which is delicious. Super, super easy to use. It just clicks off, and then this just twists and the top will come off. I don't want to take it off because I'm going to use it. I won't take it all apart. There we go. And it all comes out. Let's put it back together. And you've got the blade comes out for washing, and then there's a little rubber ring as well to seal it. Pop this back in. It's all got arrows on the bottom so you know which way to go. And it clips back in. Clips back in that way. Ta-da! And it's safe, and then it will work. It won't turn on until this is clicked in properly. And the best bit, because I've got a big stand mixer that wobbles around all over the place, it has rubber feet. so the rubber feet will stick to your surface. If you press it hard enough, it's not sticking to this, it'll stick to your bench and it won't move while it's crushing your ice and blending your smoothies and your milkshakes and your soup and your sauces and whatever else you're going to use. Also, one last thing, it has a little measuring cup. So this has three measurements on it. You've got 10, 20 and 30 millilitres, which I find really handy, especially for things like hummus or pesto, where you're adding small amounts of olive oil or rapeseed oil at a time just to get the consistency right. It's absolutely perfect. And it's a glass jug. My previous one was a plastic jug and you had to wait for everything to cool down loads before you could use it. And this is heat proof up to 60 degrees, which is perfect. So as long as you've made your stock a little bit, maybe 10 minutes before you want to use it, and you're not pouring it in boiling, it'll be at 50, 60 degrees and it won't shatter. And when temperature changes, it won't shatter either. And I mean, you're not going to eat anything above that temperature, but it makes it perfect. So it means you can use the blender and you can serve up what you're cooking immediately. You don't have to reheat again. It'll be perfect serving temperature. So I'm going to grab my vegetables and we're going to pop them into the blender and we're going to make our soup. So here we have our tray of vegetables. Everything's cooked deliciously. I don't want to tip it too much. You can see it's just blackened on there because there's lots of juices in the peppers which I want to go into the soup. So it's all just beautifully cooked. I've taken the vines off. I've carefully taken the stalk out of the peppers, taken the vines off the tomatoes, and pop everything in, and then I'm going to squeeze the garlic in as well. Just as a note, before we pop everything in, I have my blender turned on at the plug, but I don't have it connected yet. I don't have this jug connected. So if I pull the jug in and connect it, then you can see the light comes on, you know it's ready to use. So turn it off at the plug. We don't want it working before I'm ready to go. And let's take the lid off, which is obviously sealed, so it's a little tough to get off, but you want it that way because you don't want all of the liquid coming out. And then we are literally going to pour in there our onions and our peppers and our tomatoes with all the lovely juices from the baking tray. I've very quickly taken the outer layer off the garlic and we're just going to squeeze it in because it's been on the side for about 5 or 10 minutes. It's cool enough to touch. Make sure we don't drop any of the skin in. And it's garlicky, but it's a sweet garlic flavour. Don't worry, my hands are clean. I washed them before I started cooking. So we get all that garlic out. You could also do it with a knife, but I'm trying to use as little as possible to minimise the washing up because this is the easiest recipe in the world. So if you didn't want to squeeze it out with your fingers, you could just pop the bulb of garlic onto a chopping board and squeeze it with the flat of a knife, push it out. Be very careful of the sharp part, obviously. I've also got here a handful of basil leaves. I've got quite a few because my basil leaves are very small, they're just newly grown, but I would maybe put about 10 or 15 regular sized basil leaves in there. We've also got 750 millilitres of vegetable stock, which I prepared at about the same time as I took everything out of the oven, so it's been cooling for about 10 minutes. And I'm also going to pop in 150 to 200 millilitres of double cream. You don't have to use double cream, you could also use milk, or you could omit it altogether. It will make a much creamier soup if you add the cream in, hence roast tomato cream of roast tomato soup. And then we just turn our blender on at the plug first. And we've got the light on, which means it's connected. There we go. And you can still hear me over the top of it because it's not crazy loud. And the volume doesn't really increase that much as you turn the blender up either. I love it. Can you tell that? I like it. There we go. Everything whizzed up. do it, I think. And we're going to dish out our soup with our toasties. There we go. Delicious, creamy tomato soup. Add a little swirl of cream if you're feeling fancy. There we go. Delicious, pan-free cream of tomato soup. I can't wait to eat it, and it's the perfect temperature to eat immediately. So I'm going to dish this up for the rest of the family, and we're all going to go and enjoy our tea. Okay, we have got a quick and easy strawberry milkshake to make. They're delicious. I love them, and it means I don't have to have fresh strawberries in the fridge to make it, and I just keep the ingredients in the cupboard or in the freezer, and strawberry milkshakes all around whenever we feel like it. So I've got a tin of strawberries in light syrup. I've got some strawberry flavoured dessert sauce, the ones that you pour over ice cream. We've got some good vanilla ice cream and some milk. I'm going to have 2 scoops of ice cream, all of the strawberries and half of the syrup, about a tablespoon of the strawberry dessert sauce and 300 millilitres of milk. This will make enough for 2 big glasses of strawberry milkshake and maybe a little dribble left over. So yeah, I'll just show you how to make it really easy, and the blender's going to do all the work, really, not me. So here we go. So we've got our tin of strawberries. We have about half of the syrup, a little bit more, there we go. And about a tablespoon of strawberry dessert. 2 scoops of ice cream. They don't have to be huge scoops, just regular scoops. And 300 millilitres of milk. There we go. Pop our lid on. And I do like to turn this one up because it helps to crush the strawberries quickly, because they're not fresh ones, so they're a little bit firmer when they're in the tin, and also to mix the ice cream in with everything so it melts. So here we go. And that looks just about ready. It's as quick and easy as that, and you've got fresh, delicious strawberry milkshake. And I'm just going to pour it into my glass. Pour it all in. Oh, it's just frothy, and oh, I love milkshake. There we go. Try not to spill it, Kelly. There we go. There's my homemade strawberry milkshake, and it's really, really, really tasty. I'm gonna have a taste. Have a taste. Delicious. And there is my homemade strawberry milkshake. So I best pour another glass for my husband so he doesn't feel left out. And there we go. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed these 2 really short, quick recipes. And don't forget, if you fancy buying yourself a new or the first blender, if you don't already have one, especially one with a glass jug, I always recommend going for one with a glass jug. I've had them plastic before, never again. Don't forget to check out Acekool's link below, and the discount code for 15% off is Kerry15off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!